Okay. I wonder whether you will, instead of just making an alligator out of nothing, if God says, is it fine for you if I make alligator out of this piece of paper? Would you think that will be sufficient evidence for you to say to accept the existence of such God?
No, because that's not your claim. Your claim is that there is at least one person in the universe who has the ability to make something out of nothing. To make an alligator out of that piece of paper would not satisfy the claim. It's got to be out of absolutely nothing at all, because after all, that was your original claim. You said that there exists this super person who can create the basic particles of our universe, like electrons and quarks, out of absolutely nothing. And this is something he can do. Well, if he can do that, then you ought to be able to bring him to us so we can test him and see if he can actually perform this act. If you bring him to us, we test him, and he performs an act of creating something out of nothing, then I'll have to agree with you that there is at least one person. There might be more than one, but you will have demonstrated beyond a reasonable doubt that there is at least one. Right now, you have not demonstrated that, and therefore I don't see any reason why I should believe it. Your argument by design, from design, is simply an analogy to human performance. And we talked about last time how it doesn't work. It goes in 3 steps. Man creates machines. In nature, there are objects that look like machines. They're complex objects. Therefore, some super intelligent agent must have, and the key words are must have, made these complex objects. That argument doesn't work. It's illogical. So then I ask you for evidence. What is evidence to support your hypothesis? You have none. I have lots of evidence against your hypothesis. But I still challenge you, bring forth this person you claim to exist. We'll test him together. Let's have him make a baby alligator on the table right now. And if you can do that, if he can do that, then I will conclude there is one person in the universe who can make something out of nothing. You ought to be able to do this. You claim to be good friends with this person. I think he's imaginary. I think you're making him up in your mind. But you think he's real. If he's real, if you are his friend, he should be ready to do a favor for you and to help us seek truth. So bring him forward and let's see what he can do.
Yeah, indeed, he is. Indeed, he is. I will try. I try to do everything to be his friend, and I have no doubt about his presence. And in this regard, I think he's not just actually making one baby alligator. He's not just showing one evidence, and I think he's showing almost infinite number of evidence like this. I have absolutely no doubt, and I have absolutely no doubt that he is the one that, from moment to moment, showing such elegant evidences. And I think if you open your eyes, and if you open your eyes and look at them carefully, you will certainly see what I see, and you will certainly reach the conclusion that yes, indeed, he exists, and he is all present, he is all powerful, and he is behind the reality that we experience in the universe. Now, back to the point that I think you're right. If I say that the creation out of nothingness, then that hypothesis can be only proved if I actually show the creation out of nothingness. The example of that one, I will come to that one. I agree with you on that one. But first step, I will say that's not the only way. But that's I think that I personally think that as a rational, reasonable person, I will come back to the creation out of nothingness and talk about the evidence in this regard. But the evidence for God is not limited to this. You can't say that's the only one. I think the first step, perhaps for us to look at it, is if God now create the baby alligator out of this piece of paper, and I think as a reasonable, rational person, you should definitely say yes, that this is indeed a unequivocal evidence. Why? It's because that we cannot see the quality of being alligator within this piece of paper, because that what we look at it as the arrangements in baby alligator cannot be really just the product of those atom arranging itself without in this case the intelligence and the power of reshaping it. So that's why I personally think, that's why I wonder what you will say, that if you see the baby alligator come out of this piece of paper, will you accept this one as another evidence for some supreme power?
Well, as I expected, you have not agreed to bring forth your alleged person for testing, and I'm not surprised, because I don't think you can do it. And the reason for that is because this person you have claimed to exist is actually a figment of your imagination. He's an imaginary person. It's sort of like Mickey Mouse or Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny. It's something you've imagined this person to exist, and you carry on your conversations with them. You speak to him on a daily basis, 5 times a day, and you sometimes think he talks back to you, but it's pretending that's going on in your mind. Now, as far as this piece of paper, I'll give you an opportunity to bring forth your imaginary person to transform that piece of paper right now into a baby alligator, and if you can do that, and if he comes forward and he's able to do that, I'll count that as some evidence in favor of your hypothesis. It's not convincing evidence because it's not what you claimed. Your original claim was that this person cannot only rearrange basic particles into complex objects, but that he can create something out of nothing. That was your original claim. So I guess we'll come to a stalemate on that. I've shown that you can't do it. You agree that you can't do it. But I don't think you can even do the other thing that you suggest. Bring forward the person, this person you call Allah, and let's see if he can transform the piece of paper into a baby alligator. Now, I do think that someday maybe human beings will be able to do this. Now, in that piece of paper here, I don't think there's enough atoms to do the job. There's a lot more atoms in an alligator than there is in this piece of paper. So you'd have to have something like maybe that couch over there with enough atoms in it that you could strip the atoms down into more basic particles and then rearrange them into an alligator. That might be possible. But yeah, go ahead, bring your fella forward and we'll see what you can do with this piece of paper.
Okay.